This week we're in Mosquito Lagoon fishing with a good friend of mine, Captain Justin Price. Now Justin and I have been trying to put this trip together for about 2 years, and finally it happened.
How you doing?
Long time no see.
Good to see you.
Been too long.
So CA and I have talked on Veterans Day. We take out vets out of Patrick Air Force Base, and the guides donate their day to take out vets. And we've done that a few times together, and I think that's where it all started. He liked my little Waterman tiller, and that's what really conversation starter. And we started seeing improvements around that time in the lagoon. And I told him I think he needed to come back and do a show.
For me, Justin, this is kind of a renaissance tour of the lagoon because I have not been over here to film in a long time. In fact, the last time I was here to film was with Captain Scott McCalla, and that was years ago, and we had a great trout show. But during the interim, the lagoon has been going through a lot of changes, and not for the good, but I hear good things now. I hear you guys have had a resurgence of seagrass and the fishing's improving. And
yeah, and the seagrass was thriving last year, first year in a while. Hurricanes kind of put a damper on that a little bit, but since we're in the growing season now again with the seagrass, and we're seeing a lot of growth everywhere.
That's good.
So we're optimistic about it. A lot of things to fight for still, though, to keep things moving in the right direction. We can't think that it's turned around and forget about some of that stuff, but
you can't be complacent.
No, not at all.
Cannot be complacent. Well, I'm excited about today. I'm excited about the possibilities and getting reacquainted with a fishery that used to be my second favorite fishery in the state, Mosquito Lagoon. Other than the Everglades, this was the place I always wanted to come fish.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a destination fishery for a lot of people, and now it's become, what we've seen over the years, more of a convenience fishery.
Yeah. This place was always dubbed the redfish capital of the world, remember that?
Yeah.
So let's hope it gets back to that.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Let's go put a few on the end of the rod. This year has been one of those years where we've struggled a little bit, and oftentimes when I get frustrated, I like to fish large artificials, big baits for big fish. Came here to Mosquito Lagoon and jumped up on the bow of Justin's boat, and the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to throw a topwater because I wanted to catch a big fish and get it out of the way early. That's the kind of noise you like to hear in the morning right there.
Ooh, look at that other wake out there, Tim.
Morning topwater. Look at the size of that trout.
Nice trout.
Holy cow. That is a good one. That is a solid trout.
Only time I get the net out is for a trout.
I'm not even using the drag, I'm just using my thumb. Woo! Man, a monster. Monsters of Mosquito Lagoon. Cool. What do you think that is, 27, 26? Whoa.
Yeah, 25, 26. Yeah, he's over 26.
Beautiful fish. Rubber net doesn't hurt. I have that same series net.
Folds up nice for the compartments.
Yeah. Woo! Look at the size of that trout there.
Here's your plug.
Yeah, we'll worry about that in a minute. That is a solid trout. That is a solid trout.
Oh yeah.
Well, the one thing you can count on early light is top water.
Yeah.
You can't see the sight fish anyway. You may as well let the plug do the work.
Yeah, we started seeing enough finger mullet to make it worth it.
Oh, and this little slick corner in here makes this plug silhouette. You can just imagine what that trout must see. He just sees that signature on the top, and just as soon as you stop it, reel it straight and start it again.
Yeah.
Ooh, what an eat.
Sipped it, sucked it right in.
What an eat. The lagoon might be one of the more unique ecosystems that you can ever experience because it's nearly completely landlocked so that it does not have a true tidal influence. Now there are areas in the north end of the lagoon that do experience a little tide, but for the most part, you're fishing a lake, a lagoon, just like you would if you were in a freshwater fishery. And you have to think about how fish position based off wind, light, and just angling pressure. Now that one.
That was commitment.
That was commitment right there. Left no doubt.
See some copper on that one.
Gotta love the top water. Hold you upside down. It's amazing how much calmer they are. Remember back in the day when we used to watch Walker's Cay Chronicle with Flip, and he would talk about holding fish upside down, especially snook, or holding them on their sides. So you can hold them like this and you can actually handle them. I got a couple of friends that are guides and they hand them to their clients this way. And that way they can get set where they want to, and then they flip them over, and then after that, all bets are off.
Yeah.
As the morning matured and the light was getting a little bit higher, the bites on the topwater plug were definitely subsiding. I wanted to try to use a couple of different baits, but I was encouraged by Justin to use this little 3.5-inch Z-Man trick shots in a particular color. It couldn't be any other color but that color. It's the color that's been working for his clients that aren't throwing fly.
I'm a fly guide. Over 90% of my trips are fly fishing. So everything's technical, everything's smaller. There's times of the year we're using bigger baits. Usually when there's more bait present, it's windy, tough, rough conditions, or cloudy. You know, so you want something that's gonna push more water and get their attention. But for the most part, when these fish are in the grass feeding, they're feeding on stuff that's a lot smaller. And they're very keyed in on profile size. And once we made the switch, I don't think we use another bait besides the topwater plug in the morning. Got it, nice.
Yeah, I hit red on the roulette wheel this time, bud.
Just by itself, solo, huh?
Look like. Whoa. A little bigger than I thought he was.
You gonna wear him out a little bit?
You know, normally I would if I was grabbing him, but since you're grabbing him.
Lit up too.
He is fired up. It's like he's got some batteries in him or something.
Come on, Ten's warming up. Hold on.
Woo! A good one.
Yep.
I looked up and there's so much of that drift algae that has that red coloring. And I'm looking and it's fooling me, and I saw that one, and that one was actually moving when none of the others were. I was like, that must be one.
As soon as the cloud left.
Gorgeous fish. there's one thing that'll put a ton of pressure on you is when you know you have feeding fish and you understand under those conditions, if you blow the first shot, they're all gone. Justin moved us in, I mean, like an alligator coming in so slow that we could get probably within a half a cast of these tailors. And then the idea was to make the cast launch well past them because we're using really thin braid. It's not like you're throwing fly line over the top of them. Past them, as soon as it hits the water, bump it up and reel it across the surface so that it'll get close to the group and then drop it. Then settle for a second and then start bumping it in. The reason for that, you don't want to start pulsing that line when you're too far away from them because just the sonic pulse of that braid moving through that school would blow them up. So it was important to slide that bait all the way up to get close to the school, then drop it. That way you're only gonna have to hop it once, maybe twice for them to notice it, and one would eat it.
Crank it back, crank, 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 drop it. You start bumping it slow there.
Boy, textbook. Absolute textbook.
You're sticking with him a little bit.
Yeah. He's going to be able to do what he wants to do because he's on the Ned rig. Not like I can pull real hard. I'm catching him with a bobby pin here. What was neat about that is the fact that you can pull so quietly so that I could get the shot, like you say, past the point where they were tailing, then reel it across the top, let it fall once I had a point of reference.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to move it that far and pulse the line before I hook up.
And you know exactly where the lure is in reference to the fish.
That's right. Ooh, man. He's still trying to stay with the group, but I think
it's tough to get close to fish like that, especially when it's slick calm like that.
The skill of push poling where you put the pole down on the sea bottom first and then push off instead of just slamming it into the bottom. You make it look easy.
You make it look easy. I just have to show you fish. You're not the average guy on the front.
This one here is, look at the tail on that fish.
Yeah.
That thing looked like one of those 4-inch paint brushes that you paint the outside of a house with. And I'm trying to put pressure on him, but I just don't want to open that hook up.
You gotta take your time.
This tackle was made, this terminal tackle was made to catch bass, not redfish that weigh over 10 pounds.
Well, so much of everything we do is kind of converted from the bass world.
Oh yeah. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Inshore fishing is nothing more than bass fishing with tides. Of course here, there are no tides.
Right.
Here, it really is like bass fishing. He's starting to wear down now. Water's still nice and cool. These fish are just so strong.
Oh yeah. You can get away with the lighter tackle this time of the year.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the other thing when you're using gear this small, you know, kind of crazy how you go from a topwater to a Ned rig, but in my opinion is the hook gap is so close that you catch a huge fish like this, you can't take for granted that it might not get around their jowl. Wow, look at this fish. He is a toad. This is where it gets a little sketchy.
I'm sure he's seen this boat before.
Yeah, I bet he has. Look at the size of that thing. That thing
Nice one.
is a hammer. Look, he's
hooked.
barely hooked. Barely hooked. Bail's open. Good night. Look how, that is a fish. You know, it took us a long time to put this trip together, but boy, was it worth it.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
That is a fish. Good job.
Yeah, good fish.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Get another one.
Yep, let's do it again. Today on our trip with Captain Justin Price, I did go into the BUZBE for a lot of different baits, but I'm going to tell you right now, there was only two that really produced well. Early on, the topwater was the bait. This is the Mirrolure 26. It's the MR26 in the XL. It's the perfect finger mullet imitator. Did a fantastic job, just soft enough to be able to walk the dog in there. And you saw a couple of times where I would straight reel the bait where it would just wake and then I'd pick it up again. And we got some really great hits off that bait. As the morning came along and the topwater bite appeared to wane and the light was giving me a better shot at sight fishing, well then we switched to a number of different baits, but we ended up with the original suggestion from Captain Justin, which was going to this little Goby Bryant, which is the trick shots. This is the 3.5 trick shots from Z-Man Baits, and we've got it on a finesse bullets. This is in the Ned series. This typically is a drop shot bait, but we use it a lot on tough bite, on spooky fish. And there in the lagoon where you have crystal clear water this time of year, which is early spring, and then compound that with very shallow water, you need a real tricky bait like the trick shots. Now, this trick shots I put on the Terramar PX. This is the 6'8" medium light, because I didn't need to make a long cast, but I needed to make an accurate one. So I've got that mated up with a 3000 Vanford, and it's spooled up with 8-pound Super Slick Power Pro V2. That seemed to be the trick. I added about 4.5 feet of 15-pound fluorocarbon, and that was a good setup for making it happen in the Mosquito Lagoon Casino today.
With the positive that we're seeing with the grass coming back, and we're starting to see an increase in numbers of fish. The boat ramps are busier than what we've seen in a long time. There's more pressure on the fishery. We can't get complacent on the positive. There's a tremendous amount of work to be done, and the Indian River Lagoon is one of the biggest estuaries on the east coast of the United States. The Indian River Lagoon system that all influences the Mosquito Lagoon, the northern Indian River, stretches 152 miles down the coast. So you have a lot of different municipalities that touch that river. Everybody plays an influence. As one town can be doing everything right and the town next to it is not. And it's just a battle, so everybody has to get on the same page. There you go, nice.
Man, he found him a carrot. Or he
Good
found
fish.
him a goby is what I should say. That little trick shot, you were pretty right about that. You said that from the beginning of the day. This is a good fish to end on too. I mean, it's a solid fish. Really solid fish. It was electric on that fish. When he tipped down, ate the jig, and just ran off, I knew right then this was the best fish of the day. There was no doubt that this was the catch of our trip over here to Mosquito Lagoon. Oh, it's a good one to go out on, buddy.
Oh yeah.
It is a good one to go out on. And just tailing there in that smoky water.
Couldn't feel the boat going into the wind.
There's a lot of truth to that. People don't understand that. You're probably the most important part of this team today, is being able to put us in a situation where we can catch them. Man, I mean pulling.
Nice fish.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Look how wide this one is. You talk about a hammer-sized red. Woo.
Back in your tournament days, you would have wanted that one.
Oh yeah, that one there is the perfect fish. Look
Fat,
at that.
too.
Wow. Wow. I mean, a chunk. Look at the size of the spot on that thing.
Yeah, he was glowing over that grass.
Oh, it's like when you pushed me up and all of a sudden he just appeared in the smoke. I was like, oh, this is the one I've been waiting for all day. That that was a great day of fishing.
Yeah, definitely.
And an education on how the lagoon really has recovered to a great degree. It's not there yet, but it's come a long way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It really has.
It's not a success story yet, but we're working on it.
You sure are, and it's working. It's working. All right, well, head back to the ramp. The experience today with Captain Justin Price was, to coin a phrase, priceless. It really was. He loves the lagoon. You can see the passion that he has for it. He's in this body of water every day, understands all the little nuances, because it would be tough for someone to come here and be as successful without having a set of eyes on the water every day and knowing where these fish move day to day to day, because it does change one light period to another. There are no tides here. You have to lay eyes on these fish and understand that your best chance to have success here is to hire a professional guide.